So it is once again our good great fortune to have His Grace Chaitanya Charan Prabhu with us. And today is a very interesting topic, as you know, we announced. It is glories of Srimati Radharani in Bhagavad Gita. So in ISKCON we have a very wonderful temple in Delhi called Sri Radha Parth Sarthi Mandir. And somebody might say Radha Parth Sarthi. So Parth Sarthi is Krishna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. How, does it gel or does it not gel? Sometimes some devotees ask this question. So anyway, this is a very wonderful temple inaugurated by none other than Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji, the then Prime Minister of India. So it's a very important topic. So obviously those who came new, just only one sentence about Prabhu. That Prabhu is a teacher of Bhagavad Gita for over 25 years. He is a student of Bhagavad Gita for more than 3 decades, very seriously teaching. So it is our great good fortune to have Prabhu on this occasion to understand. So I request everyone to please keep your mobile phone on silent mode and please keep your attention focused here so that we can actually understand this topic very nicely. And then after the talk, if you have any question, you can ask them. Okay, so we would like to invite His Grace Siddha Gauranga Prabhu to honor Chaitanya Charan Prabhu. So this is basically on occasion of Jayadev's birthday tomorrow, and also another grandson of Siddha Gauranga Prabhu, Parth. Harinath. So Harinath's birthday tomorrow. So Prabhu has sponsored hall as well as prasadam on this occasion. So thank you very much, Prabhuji, and thank you to Bahurup Narsimha Prabhu, Siddha Gauranga Prabhu, to come all the way from Dubai. And also some devotees have come like Achyut Madhav Prabhu and others also have joined from us from Dubai. So thank you very much. Without taking much time, we will start the program. And just one announcement is
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhattavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Thank you very much for coming today. And we continue this diving into the mysteries of the Bhagavad Gita. And let's begin with this verse. We'll recite, many of you know this verse. I'll quickly tell the meaning and we'll recite it a few times. Mahatmanas tumam partha. O Arjuna, those are great souls. Who are the Mahatmanas? Daivim prakritimashitaha. They have taken shelter of the divine nature. And what is the characteristic? How do we know that they have taken shelter of the divine nature? Bhajantya ananya manaso. That they worship Krishna with an undeviated mind. Ananya manaso. And gyatva. Why do they worship Krishna? Gyatva bhutadik avyayam. They understand there is no reality other than Krishna. Krishna is the beginning of everything, Krishna is imperishable, Krishna is the eternal Lord. So this Daivi Prakriti, divine nature, this, the Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharya has explained, this refers ultimately to the shelter of Radharani. So we'll discuss this a little bit more. But let's look at this verse now. Mahatmanestu mam partha Daivam दैवीं प्रकृतिमाश्रितः भजन्त्यनन्यमनसो ज्ञात्वा भूतादिमव्ययम्. Once more, and then we'll recite it together. Mahatmastu mam partha Daivim prakritimashritaha Bhajantyamanya manaso Yatva bhutadimamyayam. Together. Mahatmastu mam partha Daivim prakritimashritaha Bhajantyamanya manaso Yatva bhutadimamyayam. So today we are discussing on the topic of Radharani's glories in the Bhagavad Gita. So I talk about it in three broad terms. First is the recognition. How do you even recognize that Radharani is present in the Bhagavad Gita? Then I talk about the revelation. Once we are able to recognize, then we will see how she is talked about or revealed in the Bhagavad Gita. And lastly, there are some verses which are recollections. That means these can remind us of Radharani, and also these, the Gaudiyacharya say, when Krishna is speaking them, he is remembering Radharani. So you look at both ways. So at the first level, you may say that actually there is no mention of Radharani in the Bhagavad Gita. In fact, even Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita as it is, you search for Radha, the word comes only once. In the introduction, when Prabhupada is chanting the prayer, Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari. So there only it comes. So we may say, Radharani is not there in the Bhagavad. Well, yes and no. Just as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Channa avatar. He is hidden. He is God, but he doesn't emphasize his divinity. Similarly, Channa. Channa means hidden. So just as says we have Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is a hidden avatar. Similarly, Srimati Radharani, she is hidden in the Gita. Now to recognize, sometimes we want to recognize, suppose somebody is hidden, somebody is in disguise. Then, suppose somebody is playing a role in a drama, and then we don't know who is playing that role. So then we are watching them, we enjoy the drama, but hey, is this person? No, is this person? Is this person? We are trying to recognize. So how do you recognize Radharani first of all? So here, it's important to understand that Radharani, she is not just a person. She is a person, of course, but she is also a principle. It's like Guru. Guru is a Vyakti, Guru is a person, but the Guru is also a Tattva. So Radharani is a person and she is a principle. Now what does that mean? As a person, she is the greatest devotee. There is no one as great a devotee as her. Now that is true, but as a principle, she is not just the greatest devotee, she is also actually the source of all devotion. She is actually Bhakti herself. There are two distinct points. One is the person who has Bhakti, or a person who has the greatest Bhakti. The other is Bhakti itself. So Bhakti is not different from Krishna. In the Gaudiya Vaishnava tradition, especially in Chaitanya Charitamrita, that's why Radharani is also called as Ladinisha. And this Ladini Shakti, it has two critical functions. Ladini Karai Krishna. Ladini Karai Krishna Ananda Swadan. Ladini Dwara Krishna Kare Bhaktera Poshan. So, if we consider Krishna is here, and we as souls are here. The link between us and Krishna is expressed through the Ladini Shakti. And what does this Ladini Shakti do? It Krishna Ananda Aswada. It gives Krishna pleasure. And Ladini Kare Krishna Bhaktera Poshanam. This gives the devotee nourishment. Just like if we participate in a very nice kirtan or we hear a very inspiring class, and our heart feels nourished, we feel enriched. That is the mercy of Prabhu. So Radharani is not just a person, she is principle. And that is why we say Shlapa. Shlapa, is there any problem? Thank you, Lord. I see. Okay. So now Krishna is the Lord of all of existence. And Radharani is both the topmost devotee and Radharani is the embodiment of devotion. So when we understand this one, that Radharani is also a principle, not just a person. The principle is the principle of Bhakti. Generally speaking, if you think of something simply as a person, she is definitely a person, but she is not just a person. So we are all persons. The Krishna is also a person. But does that mean we can say, okay, I am a person, Krishna is a person, therefore I am Krishna? No, Krishna is a different category of person. The Srila Prabhupada emphasized that Radharani is transcendent. And we come to the transcendence of Radharani a little later. But here, once you recognize this, that Bhakti is Radharani. And you will see that Bhakti is mentioned throughout the Gita. And wherever Bhakti is mentioned, that is not only a reference to Radharani, but it's a glorification. It's like there's a person and there's a position. So we are the Prime Minister of India, there is a person. But then there's a position of the Prime Minister of India. Of course, the Prime Minister of any country, or the King of any country, the person on that position keeps changing. But with respect to God or God's consort, the person on the position doesn't change. The person and the position is always the same. Still, there is a difference between the person and the position. So that's the idea of a principle. So now, when Krishna is speaking the Bhagavad Gita, that his purpose at one level is not just to guide Arjuna. Definitely he is guiding Arjuna. But along with that, Krishna actually throughout the Gita wants to glorify Bhakti. Krishna analyzes various parts and he emphasizes the glory of Bhakti. And the glory of Bhakti is actually the glory of Radha. So, when we look at the revelation of the Bhagavad Gita, what is actually Krishna doing? Krishna is in any path or any decision we have to make. There are two things which are very clear. Say for example, some of you came with the Bible here. So then you have to decide that what is the sadhya and what is the sadhana. Sadhya is, okay, where do I want to go? Sadhana is, okay, how do I want to go? Do I want to go by car? Will you have a shared car? Will I have public transport? You know what the difference is. So what is the sadhya and what is the sadhana? If you want to buy a new house, what is the sadhya? Okay, the sadhya is that I want a place to stay in an area that is safe, or I want a place to stay. Sadhana is, okay, I need money. Do I have the money? Do I take a loan? How do I do? Sadhya and sadhana. This is a universal principle in all activities. Especially in spirituality, the sadhya is Krishna. The sadhana is Bhakti. And the Gita analyzes various parts to reveal this reality. But interestingly, in the Gita, Krishna emphasizes himself to emphasize. I'll explain what I mean by that is. See, suppose some sannyasi Maharajas come. Now people will say, okay, there's so many people in Sapphire, there's one more person in Sapphire. But then, say that person has a disciple. And that disciple will become a celebrity. When that disciple is a billionaire, that disciple has won many awards. And then, if we want to introduce, if we want to glorify that particular sannyasi guru, Maharaj, then what we may do is, we may glorify that particular disciple. You know who this is? This is so and so and so and so and so and so. And then you will say, this person has achieved so much, this person is known so much, this person is celebrated so much. This person is a disciple of this person. Then what happened? Oh, really? This person is so great, and this person is up to this person. How great is this person? So there is indirect glorification. So glorification can be both direct and indirect. And sometimes indirect glorification can be actually more emphatic. So Krishna in Bhagavad Gita glorifies himself so that he can glorify Bhakti, which is for him is glorifying Radha. In the Gopal Champu, which is one of the sweetest books about Krishna Lila, it is written by Jiva Goswami. There, Jiva Goswami explains everything, all of Krishna Lila. Now, if you consider Krishna Lila, first it is in Braja. You go to 10th canto, chapters 1 to 40 are Braja, next 10 chapters are Mathura, and the next 50 chapters, 90. And Krishna is based in Dwarka, but from Dwarka he goes to Kurukshetra, he goes to Hastinapur, he goes to various places. It's more like Dwarka is his base, that is not his residence necessarily. So from there, it's not constantly there. But anyway, so what Jiva Goswami does is, in Vrindavan Champu, he considers this to be the most important Lila of Krishna. And then he analyzes all of Krishna Lila from a Braja perspective. So he says that why did Krishna especially favor Arjuna among the Pandavas? He says because among all the 5 Pandavas, only Arjuna had a name that reminded Krishna of Vrindavan. In Vrindavan, there was a Gopal named Arjuna. In Vrindavan, there is no Gopal named Yudhishthir or Bhima or Nakula or Sahadev. So, whoever reminds Krishna of Vrindavan, Krishna becomes dear. That person becomes dear to Krishna. So, whenever Krishna is with Arjuna, Krishna is about Arjuna, oh, he remembers Vrindavan. So, he was always thinking of Vrindavan. And thus, even when Krishna is in the battlefield, it's a serious business. See what happens is, sometimes say, if we have had a discussion with someone, and say in that discussion they use a particular word. Hey, well, that was really fun. And then afterward in the public class, in that class we use the word funny. And we look at that person. Now let's say a joke between the two of them. As a reference, oh, you are referring to that funny part. So nobody else will understand what's going on. So like that, when Krishna is speaking the Bhagavad Gita, at an external level he is addressing Arjuna's confusion. Should I fight, should I not fight? And that's definitely he's doing that very seriously. Along with that, Krishna cannot even not think of Radha. Cannot not think of Vrindavan. So he is remembering Vrindavan. And he is glorifying Bhakti. So that Vrindavan and especially Radharani will be emphasized. So if we consider from this perspective, what exactly is happening here? If Krishna had simply wanted to tell Arjuna, you should fight. See, Krishna could have used two approaches. One is the approach of incitement. If Krishna just wanted to get Arjuna to fight, incitement is Krishna would have simply said, don't you remember what they did to Draupadi? Just remember those incidents, remember how helpless you felt because you were bound at that time. You are not bound now. Now is the time to head back at them. Just a few words of Krishna would have inflamed Arjuna and Arjuna would have started fighting. Krishna could use insight. Krishna could also have used another approach. Krishna could use the approach of domination. Domination means Krishna could have completed the whole Gita in 6 words. I am God, obey me. Fight. Bhagavad Gita over. Krishna could have, how? You cannot obey, disobey me, I am God. Krishna could have done that. But what Krishna does an elaborate analysis. Because Krishna doesn't want just Arjuna to fight. Krishna wants Arjuna to recognize the glory of Bhakti. And he wants all of us through that means. Sorry. He wants all of us to recognize the glory of Bhakti. And in this glory of Bhakti is the glory of Radha. So if you see what Krishna does in the Bhagavad Gita, when the overall flow of the Bhagavad Gita is, there are 18 chapters. Now, in the first 6 chapters, Krishna goes from Karma Yoga to Dhyana Yoga in the 6th chapter and he culminates in Bhakti. In the last 6 chapters, Krishna goes from Jnana Yoga to Bhakti Yoga. And in between, Krishna is talking about Bhakti Yoga itself. So now, in these chapters and these chapters, Krishna hardly talks about his own glories. Only a few references where Krishna talks about himself. Krishna is not constantly talking about I am God, I am God, I am God. No. He is telling how to practice Bhakti Yoga and there only, how to practice Karma Yoga or Dhyana Yoga or whatever. And in that connection, when it is required, he refers to himself. So he refers to himself and his position. There are almost 300 verses in the first 6 chapters and there are less than 10 verses where Krishna talks about his own position. And each of these, we'll see, Krishna is talking about his position primarily because he is asked some questions by Arjuna. So, or he has to make some point. Otherwise, he doesn't have to refer to his position. These are the verses. I won't go to all the verses. But the point is, Krishna is not interested in self-glorification. Krishna is okay, just give me education. Similarly, in the last few chapters, there is very little reference. There's 1319, there's 1420, 1426. In 15th chapter, there are some references. In 16th chapter, there's only 18 and 19. In 17th chapter, there are no references. And in 18th chapter, only when Krishna comes to the end, there he starts talking about his own. That is, in 1847 he refers to it. But after that, from 1855, he starts talking about himself till 1872. So the point is, but in between, there's a lots of references. Why does Krishna glorify himself? Because bhakti cannot be emphasized without the object of devotion. Now become devoted. To whom should I become devoted? Unless I understand the importance of that person, you cannot become devoted to that person. So Krishna glorifies himself so that he can glorify God. So what does he do in these middle 6 chapters? For example, now Prabhupada follows Krishna's way. One of my friends is from another more Aishwarya-centered Vaishnava tradition. And he said, you Hare Krishna, you got it all wrong. He said, when you refer to Krishna, there is no Sri Krishna, there is no Bhagwan Krishna. And when you are referring to Radha, you have a double honorific, Shrimati and Rani, both. So you have Shrimati, Radha, Rani. And nobody else, even previous acharyas have not used it. Vishwanath Chakravarti says uses Radha. And Bhakti-Siddhanta Thakur uses Radhika or Shri Radhika. It's Prabhupada who coined this term, Shrimati, Radha, Rani. So he asked, you have no respect for Krishna and you have so much respect for Radha Rani. What is going on over there? So actually, we are following Sri Prabhupada. And Prabhupada had so much respect for Krishna that Prabhupada coined an entire English term. What was the term? Supreme Personality of Godhead. It's a very compact and emphatic phrase that Prabhupada has. So, Prabhupada certainly had great respect for Krishna. But Prabhupada also wanted that we have a personal relationship with Krishna. And that's why when devotees would say that, Prabhupada, no, I don't have the ability to do this. But we pray to Krishna, Krishna will do that. So when Prabhupada's presence, devotees felt as if Krishna was right next to them. And Krishna was speaking to them. Krishna was a real, living, loving person who was like a friend. Suhrutam Sarvabhutana. So that's why Prabhupada, he wanted that personal relationship with Krishna for all of us to have. At the same time, he said, Radharani can be very easily misunderstood. She is misunderstood. Therefore, he said, Radharani is very accurate. And to emphasize that, he used the word Shrimati Radharani. So Prabhupada is following the same mode. Krishna talks about his glories so that he can establish the glory of Radharani. He can establish the glory of Bhakti. Now, how does Krishna do this in the Bhagavad? So, once we understand that Radharani is the same as Bhakti, then we will see that Krishna explains Bhakti. Krishna establishes Bhakti. And then Krishna emphasizes Bhakti. And in all of these, he is actually glorifying Radharani. In the verse we discussed just now, 9, 13 and 14. This is where Krishna explains how Bhakti is to practice. So 9:13 is more about the internal mood of Bhakti. 9:20, 14 is about the external activities of Bhakti. And through all this, Krishna is actually glorifying Radha. Then after that, he comes to establishing Bhakti. See, generally, when we love someone, when we start talking about that person, our face becomes bright, our eyes come alive, our expression becomes animated. Hey, somebody is praising someone. He is the greatest person in the world. If we say, you are the most important person for me in my life. If there is no energy in speaking this, you think what's happening over here? When there is love, the person comes alive. So similarly, what happens is, in the first 6 chapters, Krishna is repeatedly talking about Nishkam. He's talking about Nishkam Karma Yoga. He's talking about Virakti, about detachment. But right from the 7th chapter, the very first words is Mai Asakta Manaha. So, Mai Asakta Manaha. This is all the previous times Krishna is telling, control the mind. The mind is your enemy. And here suddenly says, Krishna says, you use your mind. See, previously Krishna is saying control the mind. But now he says, use your mind. The perfection is not controlling the mind. The perfection is making the mind attached. And the person whose mind is attached to Krishna like no one else, that is Radha. Wherever she is remembering Krishna. In fact, the gopis and especially Radharani's devotion is so much. Normally, we practice yoga to remember Krishna. When Krishna uses the gopis and gopis go away, what happens? The gopis say, we are so agitated. They are so agitated. We have heard that the yogis, when they are agitated, they calm their mind by practicing yoga. So we also practice yoga. And the gopis are practicing yoga to forget Krishna. It's Krishna who is agitating our minds so to forget Krishna. But then what happens? They all sit. She started yoga. And then suddenly, Radharani, Krishna spoke to us in that day. And all the gopis are talking, Radharani are talking. And then they keep talking about something and they say, hey, what happened? We're supposed to forget Krishna. Okay, let us sit down in yoga. Sit down in yoga. And again Radharani, the gopis, they remember something, and they start talking about Krishna. So, then there is a term called Yoga Bhrashta. So when we go get Yoga Bhrashta, we go away from Krishna. The gopis become Yoga Bhrashta to go toward Krishna. So that is the level of Srimati Radha. Now, Mai Asakta Mana. In the 7th chapter, Krishna says, anyone who is my devotee is special. But one who is completely devoted to me, that is more special. So when he says, Durlabha, Sudurlabha, he's talking about a person who has a very high level of devotion. Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanavan Mam Prapadyate Vasudeva Sarvamiti Samahatma Sudurlabha. It's extremely rare. And then, in the 8th chapter, so 7th chapter, Krishna is establishing the world. Then in the 8th chapter, what Krishna does is, Krishna has earlier taught about Ashtanga Yoga. So my voice comes from there. So Ashtanga Yoga, and Krishna says, okay, you can remember me by Ashtanga Yoga, but you can remember me by Bhakti Yoga. And this 8.40 is the only verse in the Bhagavad Gita where Krishna uses the word Sulabha. What does Sulabha mean? Easily attained. Tasyaham Sulabha Partner Nityayuktasya Yoginaha. So he says that you can attain me easily. So here, he says that, okay, you can practice Ashtanga Yoga, you can practice Yam, Niyam, Asana, Pranayam, and gradually you can elevate yourself. Or you can just remember me in the day. What makes it easy is, when we try to remember Krishna, we try to practice Bhakti, we get just not just Krishna's mercy, we get Radharani's mercy. And then, in the 9th chapter, Krishna just goes on. Sometimes, in some chapters, when Krishna is asked a question, Krishna starts the next chapter. But sometimes Krishna just speaks on his own. When the 8th chapter, Krishna is glorifying Bhakti, where he says, Vedeshu yajneshu tapahasya chaiva Dameshu yad punya phalam pratishtam Atyeti tat sarvamidam viditva Yogi param sthanam upaiti chadyam. Says the yogi will get the most benefit, far more than any other path. And from the whole chapter it's clear that he's referring to that yogi who remembers that yogi is bhakti. And then Krishna starts speaking his own words. Why? Because in the 9th chapter, he establishes the glory of bhakti in a way that is not done anywhere else. He says, he talks about 4 glories of bhakti in the 9th chapter. The first glory, he said, this is everlasting. So here he compares 9:20 to 22. In 9:20 he says, oh, you follow other paths, you don't have mercy of Radharani. You will even go to heaven, but from hell you will fall down. But if you practice my bhakti, then what will happen is, Ananyashchintayento ma ye janah paripasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham. So he says, you will attain that whatever you have, that will be protected, because the devotion that is in a devotee's heart, that is actually Radharani present in the heart. So Krishna wants to protect Radharani who has given her mercy. Krishna wants to protect that. So whatever you attain, that will be everlasting. Then not only Krishna says that, Krishna says that bhakti is also all-embracing. Anybody, normally the Vedic path, it is like, you have to be a sannyasi, you have to be a pandit to do this, you have to do this, you have to have this level of purity to do this. But Krishna says when it comes to bhakti, everybody can do it. He talks about Mami Partha Vyapa Shritya Yepisyu Papa Yonaya Striyo Vaishasatha Shudras Tepi Yanti Parangatim. So Krishna is saying bhakti is like, among universities they will say the topmost universities. In India it's IIT, in America it's Stanford or Yale or whatever. Topmost university. But he says it's the topmost university that will admit even the lowest students and ensure that all of them get graduated towards perfection. So no other path can do this. So Krishna is glorifying Radharani over there. Then his bhakti is safe. Safe means what? Even if somebody falls down, what happens is, Krishna says, I will protect you. Is apichet sudara acharo bhajate mamaranyabhak sadhureva samantavya samyak vyavasito hisaha. And sometimes because of some condition somebody falls down. But what happens is, if that person just maintains, okay, I fell down, but I am not going to fall away. There's a big difference between these two things. Fall down, that is not the same as fall away. So fall down means we're trying to practice bhakti and we fall from the standards. Fall away means we give up the practice of good things. So our conditionings can make us fall down, but our conditionings cannot make us fall. Fall away means, so okay, I was following some rules and I broke those rules. That's falling down. But, okay, I broke the rules, but I start practicing bhakti again. But when we give up the practice of bhakti, that is falling down. Krishna says, bhakti is safe. Even if you fall down, Krishna says, I will elevate you. I will protect you. Krishna says, Bhamteya pratijani name bhakta pranashyati. And then lastly, Krishna says, bhakti is easy. Says 9:26. What does it say? Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati tad aham bhakti upaharitam ashnami prayatatmana. And even if you offer a fruit, a flower, a leaf or a little water, I will be satisfied. See, what is satisfying Krishna over there? This, when we try to serve Krishna with even little devotion in our heart, what happens is, it is Radharani who manifests in our offering. And that manifestation of Radharani in our offering is what pleases Krishna. So bhakti is extremely easy. That means one doesn't need a lot of wealth, lot of intelligence, lot of power, nothing. So wherever we are, we practice bhakti. So in this way, we consider all this Krishna is speaking to establish the glory of Radha. This is the power of bhakti. This is the mercy of Radharani. And then after that, he does this in the most dramatic way in the 11th chapter. In the 11th chapter, it's actually one of the most action-packed chapters. See, most of the Bhagavad Gita is discussion, because the discussion is also action. But still discussion is like now, right now we are having a discussion right now. And suddenly, if this class stops and a drama starts over. And that will be action. So like that, 11th chapter, in between the discussion, action starts. What happens? Krishna suddenly shows the Vishwarupa. And when he shows the Vishwarupa, Arjuna is stunned. Oh, so what is this? This amazing form. And then as he's watching that form, suddenly he says, that form changes from being amazing to being alarming. Suddenly becomes scary. Like suppose somebody is watching a movie and they think it's a romantic comedy. And they're watching it, suddenly it turns into a horror movie. Hey, what happened? So Arjuna is watching and he says, this is an astonishing movie, and suddenly he sees there is this ghastly form. All the warriors are going to the mouth of the Vishwarupa. And Arjuna says, who are you? What are you? And he's scared. Shamam Namim Shamam Javishno. I cannot be peaceful. Krishna says, Kalos Lokam Shekar. This time I am the destroyer of the worlds. Arjuna becomes very humble. Arjuna offers prayers. Now in 11:36 to 46 is the only place in the Bhagavad Gita where Arjuna offers some prayers to Krishna. And then after that, Krishna has some fun with Arjuna. Arjuna at the end says, Krishna, I asked you to show me this form, and this is enough, thank you. And Krishna says, actually this form is very rare. Even by Vedic study, by Tapasya, you can't see this form. Don't you want to see it a little more? Krishna says, no, I had it up now. And then, what Krishna does is, see, the whole purpose of this chapter in one sense, there is Krishna's two-handed form. Now from that two-handed form, Krishna shows the universal form. And from there, he shows the four-handed form. And then, he returns to the two-handed form. And then Krishna says that it is this form. At the end of it, in 11:54, Krishna says, Bhaktya Tvananya Shakya Ahamevam Vido Arjuna Kyatum Drashtum Tatvena Praveshtum Japaratapa. It's only by bhakti that I can be known. So Krishna is saying this Vishwarupa, some people like to do this puja, do that puja. But higher than all of that is my two-handed form. And that highest form is attained by bhakti alone. So again, what is it? Krishna shows this grand universal form. And he says there's a form higher than this, and the way to attain that form is to bhakti. So through it, again, he is glorifying bhakti. That is a glorification of Radharani. And then, if we move forward, the glorification of Radharani becomes the most in the last instructive verse of the Bhagavad Gita. That is 1866. So for example, what is 1866? We recite it together. Sarva dharman parijyajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma shujah. So now I was in North America doing a program. It was a Yantra Hindu program on occasion of Gita Jayanti. And there, after my program, they had some kids reciting some important Gita verses. And they recited quite nicely, and they came to 1866. And they started reciting it. Sarva adharman parityajya mamekam sharanam Braja. So what's wrong? Adharma. So I told them, by using adharma, you are doing adharma now. I didn't say that. I just asked them, why are you using adharma? So they said, in the Prabhupada Bhagavad Gita, as it has become very popular, very widespread. So there are some people who are like parasites. They can't write their own books, so they try to use other people. But there's some author, I don't even heard of that author, he says, he has written a book called Bhagavad Gita as it was. And he said, listen, Krishna has come to establish dharma. Dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami. So how can Krishna tell anyone to give up dharma? So you see, over the centuries, originally in the Bhagavad Gita it was adharma. But when people were copying the Bhagavad Gita, copying is replicating, the past there is no printing press. So pathantar, handwriting had to be done. So over the generations, when the Gita was being copied, somebody forgot to put the and what mistake they made, we are correcting. Therefore, this is Bhagavad Gita as it was. So I thought, this shows just, this is as you are, as you will, as you were, and as you will be. If you have this kind of interpretive, imposing attitude, it's not going to work. The point of the word dharma in Sanskrit has 600 meanings. And we have to look to know which meaning is talked about when. If a young boy is going to college, to hostel, and say in that hostel a lot of alcoholic drinks are there. The father may warn his child, if you take a punch, you will get a punch. Now a punch is an alcoholic drink. So if you take a punch, you will get a punch from me. So the point is that the word punch can have different meanings. And we have to know which meaning is being referred to. So when Krishna is using the word dharma, he is not referring to order in society. Dharma samsthapanarthaya, there the word dharma has many different meanings. One of the meanings of dharma is social order. That is in Dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge, that's 4.8. But that's not the only meaning of dharma. And if that were the meaning, sarva dharma, give up all social order. And now what does that mean? Dharma also means duty. What is my dharma? So for Arjuna, he is already a dharmic person. Now that means he is already a person who is asking Prichhami tvam dharma sammudacheta. What is my duty? What is the right thing to do? So if somebody is coming from UAE to India to UAE, and they ask, regarding driving, what is the rule over here? You drive on the left or the right? What is the rule? And suppose we tell them, don't break the rules. Well, you don't have to tell that person that, because already their question is what is the rule. That means they want to follow the rule, they just want to know what is the rule. So, when Arjuna is already asking about what is dharma, Krishna doesn't have to tell him give up dharma. And that too at the end of the Bhagavad Gita. So what does Krishna mean over here? See, Arjuna at the start of the Gita is torn between two dharmas. There is the Kshatriya dharma, according to which he should be fighting. And then there is a Kul dharma, according to which he should not be fighting, because they are all his family members. So Arjuna is torn between these two dharmas. And what is Krishna doing? Krishna is saying, just forget all these dharmas. Sarva dharman, parityajya. We have various kinds of duties, just forget all of them and just surrender. Mamekam sharanam vraja. And when Krishna is speaking this, that is the time he is remembering gopis. He is remembering Radharani. Because when Krishna played his flute and all the gopis, at that time the gopis embodied Sarva Dharman. They gave up all duties, all family duties, all other duties, they just gave up. And they came to Krishna. So Krishna is urging Arjuna to also follow in that same way. And that means just forget all ideas of right and wrong, just remember to do what I am telling you. And it's interesting, Krishna uses the word Raja. What does Raja mean? Raja?
Keep walking.
To?
Keep walking.
To walk. Raja means walking or moving. Now, that's Raja of course also means Vrindavan. So now Krishna could have used any other word over here. But Krishna uses the word Raja. Now some people, they just don't understand the rasa at all. There's a particular mood in a particular activity. They don't understand the rasa, then there is a rasa abhas. So I was in a class in Australia recently, in Avataridesh, and there was this is a family of Australians doing a yoga studio, and then most of them were people who had some familiarity with bhakti. There's one woman, middle-aged woman, and she, as I was speaking, she got so agitated. And we can all sometimes see people are restless, but some people are really agitated. I'm concerned, what happened? Is anything wrong? She said, everything is wrong. I said, oh, what's the matter? She says, are you describing someone, some mother tying up a child? I just guessed where she's going. So I just realized, don't all of you people understand what's wrong with you? This is child abuse. Now, Mother Yashoda tying Krishna is the furthest from child abuse. Isn't it? It is actually the highest expression of love. But somebody comes from a different cultural context, they don't understand the rasa, they think it is child abuse. So like that, what some people say is at the end of the Bhagavad Gita, Sarvadharman Pratyajya Mamekam Sharanam Braja. Now Braja, they say means to go. And Krishna is saying, don't surrender to me. Go and surrender to the unborn within me. So go and surrender to someone else. Go. Now if that were Arjuna Krishna's meaning, then let's look at what Arjuna does. Does Arjuna leave the battlefield and go to find some unborn and surrender to him? No, Arjuna fights the war. So that is definitely not the meaning. So Braja is used in the Bhagavad Gita itself earlier, where he says, and Arjuna asks a question, Siddha Pratyasya ka bhasha samadhistasya keshava siddhi kim prabhasheta kim asita prajeta kim. So Braja means how do they move, how do they engage their senses. So Krishna is using the word Braja in the sense of motion. He's telling Arjuna, you surrender and then you move from the passive, you just stop fighting, start moving, act in the world. But when he's using the word Braja, that Braja also has a kind of meaning. And that is, he said, remember the Braja voices. For them also, going away from their family was not easy. I conclude one last point over here, which actually is the mood of Radharani's devotion. And that is what Krishna is calling about. See, when we are our journey to God, the first thing is, it involves some sacrifice. Sometimes we give up bad things. So for example, we give up eating, we give intoxication. And somebody is ready to give that up, that's a sign of their devotion. But then, that's not enough. Then after that, greater devotion is seen when we are ready to give up even good things for God. So for example, giving up meat. That's a bad thing, we give it up. But then, say on Ekadashi we fast. Now food is not a bad thing. But still we give up good thing also. That is a sign of devotion. Say we give some money in charity. That's a good thing. And then we give it up. Money is a good thing, but we give it to Krishna. That is a further sign of devotion. Now what happens is, there are gross things and there are subtle things. Many times what happens is when somebody gives up something good, somebody gives some donation, then they want everyone to know I have this donation. So we will give gross thing, but we want something subtle. That's also not a bad thing, because actually they will give some for a good cause, using the wealth. They want that. But imagine that somebody gives up something good, somebody gives a lot of donation, but they do it anonymously. And then they get no fame. That is actually an even greater sacrifice. Isn't it? It's not just that we are giving something gross for something, giving up something gross to get something subtle. We are giving up the gross and we are giving up the subtle. That's far greater sacrifice. But imagine in a community, say everybody gives donations and they're all names are coming. This person gives this one, this person gives this. And somebody gives the biggest donation, but they do it anonymously. And then everybody starts criticizing that person. No, you are so wealthy and you give no donation. How stingy, how miserly you are. That person will feel so angry. You want to know how much I have given? Not just more than you, I give more than all of you. So it's like when we give up, say, money, we want fame. But suppose somebody gets no fame. So if you consider the sacrifice, getting fame is one level of sacrifice. Getting no fame is another level of sacrifice. But getting infamy and still accepting that is the worst level of sacrifice. Isn't it? I've done something good and I've been criticized for that. That is very, very difficult. But if somebody does that, that means they are interested only in Krishna. So actually, this is the nature of the gopis' love. See, the gopis, when they leave their homes to go to Krishna, at that time what happens is that they are going at night to be with Krishna, their family is opposing them. They would be socially ruined in that kind of traditional society. And now they are doing a glorious act of surrender. They are giving up everything for Krishna. And they have no plan B over there. It's just only they are going to surrender to Krishna. So even if there is infamy, they are ready to take that for Krishna. Now of course Krishna says, Name Bhakta Pranashya. So Krishna arranges that if the gopis go, at that time, Krishna arranges that their lookalikes, their replicas, they are there in the home. So there are the gopis who go to Krishna, and then there are the Chaya gopis. They're just like the shadows. They stay at home. And thus the gopis' family members think that, they wanted to go, we told them not to go, and they didn't go. So in this way, Krishna protects the reputation of the gopis. But the gopis don't know that. The gopis are going there ready to be ruined for Krishna's sake. Similarly, Krishna is telling Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita that you will be doing a glorious act, fighting, doing martyrdom, establishing dharma. But many people will criticize you. They'll say, you killed your grandfather. You killed your guru. What kind of student are you? What kind of grandson are you? Krishna says, Arjuna, are you ready to accept that for my sake? Is that the price you are ready to pay for? And Arjuna says, Karishye vachanam. Why will you do your will? So what Krishna is doing over here is, actually he is not just making this verse as a attention. He is reminding Krishna of the gopis. Among the gopis, the topmost is Shri Radha. Her love is so great that when Krishna views all the other gopis, he takes her down. He just wants to be there. And it is this Radharani that is glorified in the Charan Shlok of the Bhagavad Gita. It is her sacrifice, it is her surrender that Arjuna is being called to emulate. Now, of course, Krishna protects Arjuna in the sense that the world knows that actually what Arjuna did was not a dharma. It was paradharma. There is dharma. The dharma we could say is morality. So there is moral. Now below dharma is adharma. Adharma is immoral. But above dharma is paradharma. And paradharma is transmoral. It is a morality that is higher than morality. It's like everybody has to follow the speed limits. And now if some thieves are breaking the speed limit and going, then the police may further break the speed limit than the thieves also and catch the thieves. The police are breaking the law, but they are fulfilling the purpose of the law by breaking the law. But that is transmoral. So it is Krishna is talking about that exalted mood of Radharani. And it is that mood that the Bhagavad Gita's last verse talks about. So it is at this point Krishna just becomes so overwhelmed by the remembrance of Radharani. This is I can't speak anything. And thus, in 1860, Krishna concludes and he starts speaking a fellowship together. He speaks such a high truth. First thing he says is, in Gaur Leela, when Ramananda Rai is speaking very, very high truths of bhakti. Finally, when he starts talking about the comprehensive glory of Radharani, then what else? Mahaprabhu actually found that Ramananda Rai is this cannot be spoken. So similarly, the first thing that Krishna says after speaking Sarvadharman Bhakteja is Idam tena tapaskaya na bhaktaya kadachana jashushushaye vacham nachamamyo visuyati. Just don't speak this to those who are not austere, those who don't have bhakti, those who don't have service attitude. And certainly don't just speak this to those who are envy. Now Arjuna may get the question, who is left there? So whom can I speak it to? And we are distributing Bhagavad Gita to everyone. But when Krishna is saying, Idam tena tapaskaya, that this, don't speak it to everyone. What his meaning is, this 1866, this is not to be spoken to everyone. Dehinosmi yatha dehe get told to everyone. When Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam also told to everyone. This specific glory, that even the good can be given up for the sake of God. And the idea of there being transmoral, this is a very exalted level of surrender. And Krishna says, don't speak this to me. But then after Krishna says, yeah, but the basic message of Bhagavad Gita, speak to everyone. Speak it to everyone, attract everyone. Because Krishna, at one level, wants the glories of Radharani to be known to everyone. And the Bhagavad Gita is the glory of Radharani. But at the same time, there is the topmost glory, which has to be carefully told. And Krishna is saying that, keep it clear. And this way Krishna concludes the Bhagavad Gita. And Arjuna says, Ashtomo Siddhamanta Tat Prasadamaya Sitos Vyadasandeha Karishye Vachanantava. So now, when he uses the word Achyuta, in the heart of the Gopi Gita, the Gopis also use the word Achyuta. They say that, oh Krishna, like in Sutayan Raya Bhratriban Idastava Adividam Yate Antya Achyutagata. They say that Achyuta, Krishna, you never fail. You never fail to fulfill your promises. You never let anyone down. We left everyone to come to you. Now how can you leave us? So that word Achyuta, Krishna is infallible. And Krishna then reveals to Gopis to Radharani that I just wanted the world to know your glory, the glory of your love. That you gave up everything for me and I apparently gave you up. And yet you didn't give me up. That is your love. And this, Arjuna uses the word saying Achyuta. Krishna, I know you are love fallible. You are asking me to enter into that innermost domain of love, the love of Srimati Radharani for Krishna. And this love is something which always, Arjuna, he says, I remember that I know I am fallible. Therefore, Karishye Vachananta. I will do your will. So, such is the glory of Radharani as is revealed in the Bhagavad Gita. So I'll summarize what we discussed. I started, the first point was the recognition. Right? Yeah. और सार में हमने देखा कि राधारानी की क्या महिमा है भगवद गीता में. तो सबसे पहले पहचान. राधारानी ये केवल एक व्यक्ति नहीं है, पर वह एक तत्व भी है, वह एक प्रिंसिपल है. तो व्यक्ति के रूप में राधारानी भगवद गीता में एब्सेंट है, बट भगवद गीता में प्रिंसिपल के रूप में, तत्व के रूप में, नॉट ओनली शी प्रेजेंट बट शी इज प्रोमिनेंट. ये सारी भगवद गीता जो है भक्ति की महिमा ही बताई जा रही है. प्रिंसिपल के रूप में राधारानी है भक्ति, और सारी भगवद गीता इसलिए बताई जा रही है जिससे कि भक्ति की महिमा बताई जाए. तो दूसरा पॉइंट हमने देखा कि रेवलेशन, कि भक्ति की महिमा कैसे बताई जा रही है. हम देखा कृष्ण पहले कर्मयोग से ध्यान योग से भक्ति योग तक आते हैं, पहले 6 अध्यायों में. आखिरी 6 अध्यायों में ज्ञान योग से भक्ति योग तक आते हैं. बीच में के 6 अध्यायों में वो भक्ति योग का गुणगान करते हैं. और जब इस तरह से गुणगान कर रहे हैं तो बीच में से 6 अध्यायों में देखा पहले और आखिरी 6 अध्यायों में भगवान खुद के बारे में ज़्यादा बोलते नहीं है. बात कैसे है? कृष्णा's ग्लोरीज, भगवान की महिमा किससे बताई जा रही है? ताकि भक्ति की ग्लोरी वो बताई जाए, भक्ति की महिमा बताई जाए. उसके लिए कृष्ण अपनी महिमा बता रहे हैं. जैसे कोई गुरु महाराज की महिमा बताई हुई तो उनके बड़े शिष्य जो फेमस है उनकी महिमा बताओ, तो उससे उनकी महिमा इनडायरेक्ट बताई जाए. तो इस तरह से कृष्ण जो है वो भक्ति की महिमा बता रहे हैं. और इस अंदर हमने देखा कि कैसे 4 महिमा बताते हैं वो. जैसे भक्ति का रिजल्ट जो है एवरलास्टिंग है, शाश्वत है. तो भक्ति जो है वो सबका उद्धार कर सकती है. भक्ति ये परम सेफ है, इससे कोई पतन भी हो जाए तो भी उद्धार हो सकता है. और भक्ति जो है वह बड़ी उसका जो बड़ी आसान है करना, इजी एकदम कुछ कंफर्म हो. ये जो है 9:20 से 9:34 तक बताया है. और आखिरी जो है हमने देखा रिकलेक्शन. रिकलेक्शन मतलब कैसे जब कृष्ण खास करके 18-26 इसको हम विस्तार से देखा. 2 वर्ड कि धर्म का अर्थ क्या है इसमें, जब धर्मान परिवर्तन बता रहे हैं तो वो क्या है, वह ऐसे नहीं बताया कि आप धर्म करो, बोले पर धर्म के स्तर पे जाओ. जिस स्तर पे जो गोपीज है ट्रांस मॉरल उस स्तर पे जाओ. अभी जो ब्रज है, ब्रज का अर्थ क्या है, वह एक इनडायरेक्ट रेफरेंस है वृंदावन के भाव. और इस तरह से जो अर्जुन ये अच्युत ये शब्द इस्तेमाल करते हैं, जो शब्द गोपियों ने भी इस्तेमाल किया है, कि जो भगवान की जो महिमा है वो अपार है, पर वो खुद की महिमा भगवान इससे बता रहे हैं ताकि राधारानी की महिमा बताए. और जो राधारानी की महिमा क्या है, वह भगवान को आकर्षित करती है. उसके द्वारा अर्जुन जानते हैं कि मैं जब करिष्य वचनम तब मैं भगवान की सेवा करने तैयार हो रहा हूँ, तो जो कृष्ण और राधारानी का जो अंतरंग प्रेम है उसके सर्कल में वो एंटर करने का मौका मिला. बहुत धन्यवाद. हरे कृष्ण. कोई सवाल है?
किसी का कोई प्रश्न है तो पूछ सकते हैं. Anybody has any question? Or we have some announcement, so I'll make some announcement in the meanwhile. You can think of your question. So, Hare Krishna. So first of all, we would like to express our heartfelt gratitude and thanks to His Grace Chaitanya Charan Prabhu for explaining so nicely the hidden glories of Bhagavad Gita, of Srimati Radharani in Bhagavad Gita, although it is very prominent as he displayed and he showed by his example. So I remember one time when Brajvasi had told me that whatever Krishna does or speaks, even in Bhagavad Gita, he has learned from Srimati Radharani. And I didn't understand, but actually after today's class I understood that how Krishna would have spoken, because whatever gopis taught Krishna, Krishna spoke in Bhagavad Gita. Like when he says, Mam Anusmara Yuddha Cha, that means काम करते हुए मुझे याद करते हुए अपना युद्ध करो. तो गोपी जो भी कार्य करती थी, whatever work or household chores gopis used to do, they used to remember Krishna and then do. हमारा प्रॉब्लम ये है कि कृष्णा हमारे मन में नहीं आते. गोपियों का प्रॉब्लम ये है कृष्णा उनके मन से जाते नहीं हैं. तो कभी कभी वो कहती है कि अरे निकल जा मेरे मन से तो मैं कुछ काम कर सकूं घर का. So it's very nice, Prabhuji. So thank you very much for wonderfully explaining it. So किसी का कोई प्रश्न है तो आप पूछ सकते हो. We have
Prabhu, thank you for the amazing class. Very inspiring to always hear Bhagavad Gita from you. You mentioned that Srila Prabhupada did not mention Radharani in his purport in the Bhagavad Gita. Is there a Vaishnava Acharya, a Gaudi Vaishnava Acharya who did?
Chakravarti Pad was that, Daimon Prakati Mahashita. There he says it refers to Radharani. And Jiva Goswami also talks about it in Sandarbhas at some cases. Jiva Goswami not written a full commentary on the Bhagavad Gita, but he has talked about several Gita verses. And when he's talking about in Sandarbha, he uses references to Bhagavad Gita where he alludes to Radharani. So the point is that there are two distinct things over here. See, Prabhupada, if you look at his emphasis, Prabhupada is progressive in his approach. In the Bhagavad Gita, he wanted for the most mass distribution. And in that Bhagavad Gita, he did not get into the confidential parts. Now, he did point out, for example, Prabhupada in Manmanabhor and Purport, he says that one should not surrender. One should surrender only to Krishna. That is Jiva Goswami said that. Actually, he says that not even to Vishnu, not even to Ram, not even to Narayana, only to Krishna. And then Prabhupada actually embodied the middle of Radha. The Gaudiya Krishna has explained that when Krishna had disappeared from the gopis at one time, and the gopis were running around chasing Krishna. At that time, Krishna appeared in the form of Vishnu. And from a distance, the complexion was similar, so the gopis thought, hey, this is Krishna. And they kept running. And when they saw it as Vishnu, they were actually disappointed. Now the yogis were delighted to see a one darshan of Vishnu. But the darshan of Vishnu made the gopis disappointed. And then they said, Vishnu, please accept our pranams. Can you tell us where is Krishna? And, he just pointed like this, and all the gopis ran. Then finally Radharani was searching everywhere, Radharani came there. At that time, Radharani asked, where is Krishna? Can you please tell me? And see the intensity of her longing and her love. No, Krishna was pointing like that, but two of the extra hands melted. And Radharani saw her beloved Lord standing in front of her. So that idea of not shifting one's mind even to any other form of the Lord, that is the mood of Radharani. In fact, that mood is there of all the gopis, but in Radharani it is so great that actually Krishna manifests even when he has taken the form of Krishna. So that is also Prabhupada referring to Jiva Goswami's word. When he says, don't let the mind go to any other form.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. My question is, you mentioned about dharma, like you have different duties. Similarly, in real life, we experience situations where both the situations are very difficult to handle. Like you have to choose between the two. Like for example, cancer therapy. like with like just to give you an example, if somebody is going through cancer and he has to choose between chemotherapy or holistic Ayurvedic this thing, it's a very difficult choice to make. So similarly, what does Krishna say in this situation? Because at that point of time in Kurukshetra, Krishna was himself there to guide Arjuna. But then in real life situations, how do we deal with such situations?
Right. First of all, although Krishna was there to guide Arjuna, it was not that Krishna was taking decisions for Arjuna. Krishna was equipping Arjuna to take decisions. Right? It is not that after the Bhagavatam Kurukshetra started, Krishna was constantly asking, don't do this, don't do this, do this, don't do this. Not before shooting every arrow, Arjuna was asking. That is not the idea. Not microcontrol. The first point. So now, when we have to make difficult decisions in life, one of the first things to understand is that in this world, quite often, there are no perfect solutions. When we say the word dukkhalaya, that does not mean we have to always be dukkha. But that means that sometimes we have to accept the dukkha of a trade-off. There is no solution to a problem. There's only a trade-off. If this problem, solution means this problem was there, I do this, and the problem disappears. But a trade-off means, okay, if I do this, this will go away, but I'll get this. But this, if I do this, this will go away, but I'll get this. So, even in the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna, ultimately, when Arjuna surrenders to Krishna, he, at a transcendental level, he is becoming completely connected with Krishna and ecstatic in his connection with Krishna. But at a practical level, he has to make a trade-off. That he has to choose Kshatriya Dharma over his Kuru Dharma, because that's what Krishna wants. And the trade-off means there are consequences. So, that's how it is for us. Prabhupada, when he went to America for preaching, the first year especially, first God Purnima that Prabhupada celebrated, he writes in Ujjain, all my God brothers are in Mayapur, Vrindavan, ecstatically discussing God Katha. And I am here all alone with nobody and without anyone who even knows the name of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. So I am feeling so forlorn and lonely. But it is the mission of my ascension. So Prabhupada went to America, that was a trade-off. It was a courageous act. So he was going away from the whole town. And who knew what the future held? Prabhupada did not have any assurance that he had a vision that this would happen. The preaching would spread all over the world. There was no assurance. So it requires trade-offs. So we use our God-given intelligence and try to see which is the best trade-off. So that's what, so in difficult decisions, that's what we have to do.
Krishna Prabhuji, I just have a small doubt. Can you please explain the difference between sadhya and sadhan? What you had given with
Sadhya and sadhan.
Yes.
Sadhya is the means and sadhan is the end. Say for example, you want to go to India. Now, okay, the destination is the mean, the end. The sadhya is India. Now the means could be, you could go by plane, you could go by ship, then you could go walking also. It'll probably take a lifetime. Or even if you want to go by plane, you go by this airline, that airline, that airline. So all that is a sadhana. So now, in the spiritual domain, there could be many sadhyas. Moksha could be a sadhya. Brahmajyoti could be a sadhya. Bhagavan could be a sadhya. So in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna establishes that it is Krishna who is the sadhya. Param Brahma, Param Dhama, Pavitram Param. Arjuna put it like that. Then what is the best way to attain that sadhya? Krishna does not reject any spiritual path. He acknowledges Karma Yoga also, acknowledges Jnana Yoga also, acknowledges Bhakti Yoga also, he acknowledges Dhyana Yoga also. But then he emphasizes Bhakti Yoga. See, the Gita is inclusive somewhere, but it is not, it is inclusive, but it is not inconclusive. It has a very clear conclusion. Sarva Dharman Pratijamam Ekam. So that is the means. So the means, the sadhan is bhakti. The sadhya is Bhagavan.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Sure.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you for your lecture today. I had like two short questions. So you said Dharma in Sanskrit has 600 meanings. Is there like, and if I'm not mistaken, there are also like several words and several other words in Sanskrit that also have several meanings. So like, why is that the case? And also I want to know like, is there like, where does like Sanskrit come from? Like, is there someone who like invented it, or like, where does it derive from?
Why does dharma have so many meanings? Well, in general, it's a feature of language that words are multivalent. That words can refer to many different things. It's like the English word run. A run has 540 meanings. I'm going for a run. I'm running because my car has stopped running. I'm running because my car has stopped running and that person is running for president. So I am running away. So we can have multiple meanings. So the meanings of words is natural in every language. That words do tend to have different meanings. And actually this is what in one sense allows language to have beauty and artistry and poetry. All that comes, ornamentation comes, like one of the common things is puns. You use the same word in different meanings. So the ornamentation of beauty of language comes because words, one of the features is words have different meanings. And you can play with words. But functionally also meanings are aligned to different things. And Sanskrit is especially a rich language. Sanskrit, if you see, it's a minimalist language. In English, there are punctuation marks, double quotes, exclamation marks. Some people put not one but 5 exclamation marks. That means, that the idea is, in good writing, you will not do that because let your words do the speaking. When you are not confident in your words, then what happens is you put a very many exclamation marks. So like that. So the point is that Sanskrit is a minimalist language. Sanskrit doesn't have punctuation marks. At least not to the extent. It doesn't have comma, it doesn't have apostrophe, it doesn't have exclamation mark. So, Sanskrit is a minimalist language. So, what it means is, it relies on the intelligence of the reader to understand what is being said. So, just like if when some joke is made using a pun, word with the same word with 2 meanings, then it requires the intelligence of the audience to understand what is the joke over it, what is the meaning over it. So that's why Sanskrit is Deva Bhasha. It is not a language that ordinary people can very easily understand. So it is celestial language. It was generally a language of scholarship and refined artistic content can be conveyed. That's one thing. Now, as far as the origin of Sanskrit, there are 2 things over here. That one is that Sanskrit is the Deva Bhasha. It exists co-eternally with creation. At the same time, in the history of the world, Mr. Krishna says, Sakale ne hamata yogo nashta parantapa. With times there can be ups and downs. At certain times more people can be practicing, sometimes more less people can be practicing. So historians may have their own ideas about when Sanskrit originated. But their theory for deciding for Sanskrit originated at XYZ date, that is all based on manuscripts. This was the oldest Sanskrit manuscript we have, that's why this is the time of Sanskrit originated. But India is a tropical land. Tropical land is where documents don't last for very long. And on top of that, there's a long oral tradition. So all that we can know is when the last written, the oldest written Sanskrit document we have. But we can't know when Sanskrit was, what all documents were there before that. And we can't know how much longer Sanskrit was spoken before. Sanskrit in that sense is co-eternal with the creation. So whenever creation begins, there are the devatas who manifest and then they talk in celestial language, that's Sanskrit. And that manifests on the earth also, among the Bhu-devas especially. There are Devatas who are the gods and Bhudevas are the Brahmans.
Prabhu, thank you for the wonderful question. So in connection to the Prabhu's question, like when Arjuna was put into a very difficult situation of decision making, so Lord Krishna was there personally to guide him, make him capable of making decision. But for us in Kali Yuga, we have book Bhagavata, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavata, we have all facilities. But because we are so unfortunate, in Kali Yuga, we have very less memory, we have forgetfulness, we have so many limitations. So though we have access, though we already have access, we know some of the informations that we gain from lectures. But when we actually put into some difficult decision-making situation, because of our forgetfulness, maybe we are very unfortunate, we are not able to actually take decision because we don't know how to utilize these informations. So how we can actually overcome this situation in real life scenarios?
See, first of all, Krishna understands where we are at. Krishna does not expect us to do things that are beyond our capacity. Krishna is like a coach. If you have capacity to say lift 25 kg weight, the coach is not going to give, a good coach is not going to give 100 kg weight. So if we make some wrong decisions in particular situations, Krishna also understands. Krishna is expert enough to continue his plan even through our wrong decisions. It is not that Krishna thinks that, oh, you made a wrong decision, get lost forever. No. Krishna never says get lost to us. Krishna is always with us. Now, as far as the process of decision making is concerned, it is always a challenge. But in general, there are 3 steps. I'm not going to Gita verses specifically for this. The first is, whenever we do something, we have to strengthen our intention to do it. Say, for example, I decide I'm not going to get angry whenever I'm provoked. I'm going to stay calm. Getting angry is a bad thing. So, strengthen the intention. So, strengthen the intention. And the intention will become weak repeatedly. That's why we have good intention for some time, after that it becomes weak. We re-hear the importance of staying calm. Read something about it. And then that alone is not enough. After that is visualization. Visualization, this Krishna talks about it. He says, elevate yourself with yourself, don't degrade yourself. And look at yourself from perspective of yourself. You think, okay, what are the times when I get angry? And okay, maybe it's with this person, maybe it's when I'm hungry and somebody pushes me to something, or at the end of a long day. So find out, visualize, when will I do it? And then how can I act? And sometimes we will succeed, sometimes we will not succeed. But after that, we do retrospection. Retrospection means looking back. Okay, so thinking, oh, I decided I'll not get angry, but I got angry. Instead, we can say that, okay, in the past, I would have got angry within 2 minutes. But here, I stayed calm for 5 minutes and after that. And staying calm for 3 minutes more is a success. So look at it. In this way, there is retrospection, again come back to it. So it is gradual, it's incremental. Just as the mind wanders, bring it back. The mind wanders, bring it back. We keep bringing it back and it will become focused. So yes, there is no guarantee in this world that we will always make right decisions. But what we can do is, by this process, we can make our decision-making process better. And gradually, we'll come towards sounded and sounded decisions. Okay?
Thank you for the beautiful lecture. Actually, today looks like a crescendo. Today was better than yesterday, so maybe tomorrow will be the best, probably. Actually, my question was partly answered in this question, but I will still ask, like in dharma and paradharma. So ordinary people like सामान्य लोग धर्म ही फॉलो नहीं कर पाते, तो वो paradharma कैसे करें? And like who can do paradharma and how can do it?
Okay. So people are not able to do dharma itself, then how can they do paradharma? Yes. That's why we can't just give instruction on paradharma to everyone. We have to give instruction on dharma also. In the afternoon class I was explaining this, that many times the people equate frustration with renunciation. But the two are not the same thing. So, somebody's frustrated. What is the difference between frustration and renunciation? Say, it's like I was. Should I have frustration or renunciation? So, the thing is, once I was in Pune and one boy came to the temple and he said, I want to become a brahmachari. I had hardly ever seen in the temple, you're not doing much sadhana as far as you know, seva. I said, you really want to become a brahmachari? He said, yes, by Sunday I'm going to do this. Okay, what is going to happen on Sunday? He said, I have proposed to a girl. If she says no, then I become a brahmachari. So I told you that is not renunciation, that is frustration. So what is the difference over here? See, there is the desire to enjoy and there is the ability to enjoy. So renunciation means there may be the ability to enjoy but there is no desire to enjoy. Frustration means there is the desire to enjoy but there is no ability to enjoy. So basically, why I am talking about this is, many times when people, they want to go to the the transmoral, they are not even able to follow the moral. So if somebody is simply frustrated with life, we encourage them to renounce the world. If they are not able to do dharma, they will not be able to do paradharma. If we encourage them, what can? Now, of course, renunciation is okay, but renunciation should not be escaping from the world. We should not be running away from our responsibilities. So, in our teachings, when we are talking with people, we should not be disrupting them. We should be encouraging people to practice bhakti, but actually bhakti is practiced properly and help people to do the dharma better. If somebody starts chanting, maybe their anger goes down. And they will have better relationship with among their family, with their colleagues. They will be able to do those responsibilities also better. So, actually, normally, dharma and bhakti, they have a symbiotic relationship. That means, say if somebody in the past has been living a little dharmic life, that means they are moral, they are regulated, they are disciplined. For them to practice bhakti will be quite easy. So dharma can lead one to bhakti. Or dharma can make bhakti easier to practice. And simultaneously, so dharma makes bhakti easier to practice. Dharma doesn't generate bhakti. It is bhakti only generates bhakti, but dharma can make bhakti easier to practice. And bhakti can also actually make dharma easier to practice. Say somebody is very greedy and they are thinking maybe I will be dishonest, I will be corrupt, I will rob, I will do this, I will cheat. And they will know it is wrong, but their greed is tormenting them too much. If they practice bhakti, they become purified of their greed and practicing dharma becomes easier. So it's only in very rare situations that for the sake of bhakti, we give up dharma and go beyond it. That is rare. It is not something which will be ordinarily done or even recommended. That's why Krishna said this is confidential. You see, in 12, 13 to 20 in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna talks about bhakta's qualities. The qualities of a devotee that endears the devotee. But here, Krishna is not talking about devotional qualities. Krishna is primarily talking about behavioral qualities. That means, This is talking about how a devotee is polite, a devotee is kind, he does not disturb others, is not disturbed by others. And this is broadly, you could say, about Dharma. That means Krishna is saying that a bhakta who has dharmic behavior is actually very weird. Thank you very much.